These are the 3 most likely Straw Hats to eat a Devil Fruit in the near future, and trust me, the last one will shock you. You see, there are many Straw Hats in need of some form of upgrade or growth before Elbaf, and to put it simply, if they don't actually get this upgrade, they probably will die upon arrival. So before we finally arrive at the long-awaited home of the giants, we will see not 1, but maybe even 2 Straw Hats eat a Devil Fruit, and the first of these 2 will gain their Devil Fruit power in Egghead, the power of Kuma's Devil Fruit. So without wasting any more of your time, let's discuss all the Straw Hats in need of a future power, and why these 2 in particular are most likely the ones that will obtain this power. So up first, and the least likely to gain a Devil Fruit power, is Nami, the beautiful navigator. Nami is not only one of the original members of the Straw Hat Pirates, but is also the first crewmate to ever be seen in the anime. She was even seen in the series before Luffy. Nami, while being a fan favorite character, is one of the best female characters in the entire show. She was never really considered a fighter and was always seen alongside Usopp as one of the more cowardly characters. But after her considerable upgrade in the form of Zeus, she has become one of the more powerful members of the crew. You could even make the claim that she is in the top 5 strongest right now. You see, it is for this reason that I believe she isn't likely to get a Devil Fruit in the future, as she isn't really in need of one. She also said earlier in the series that she likes swimming and wouldn't want to give it up just to become some useless hammer. So now let's move on to the second least likely Straw Hat to get a Devil Fruit, and this one may actually come as a surprise to many, due to his apparent weakness and his desperate need for a power-up, that is Gold Usopp. Usopp is by far the second weakest Straw Hat in the crew. That's right, the second weakest. The weakest would actually come up in just a bit. He has been seen to be one of the few to possess strong observation haki, but hasn't actually advanced it at all since Dressrosa. Of course, Elbaf is considered his arc and will most likely be where he shines brighter than any other character, but I don't believe this will be due to any form of Devil Fruit upgrade. It will most likely come in the form of a new weapon, maybe a weapon by the name of Yildir. Now, if you know your Norse mythology, then you'd know this weapon is associated with the bow god, Urilur, which is also who I think Usopp is strongly based around. But honestly, I have so much to say on this that I'm going to make an entire video on Usopp and Uril's relationship. In this video, I'll explain everything from the similarities to the impact Ural may have on Usopp's growth and potential death in the final war. So if you'd like to see that video, then be sure to tell me in the comments and I'll be sure to get right on it. But for now, let's get back to this video. Yes, Usopp is in great need of an upgrade, but it is apparent that Oda himself has no intention of this upgrade coming in the form of a Devil Fruit. Oda has also said himself that he likes Usopp to be the weakling in the crew full of godly beings. Usopp is here to become the brave hero of the story by nothing more than his scaredy cat cunning ability to trick each opponent into submission. I believe by the end of the story, we will see God Usopp as one of the most powerful humans in the world. No special tricks, just pure, unfiltered truth of character, which is going to be surprising as he's the biggest bullshitter in the whole story. I also believe he'll receive one of 2 possible upgrades in the future. The first being, as mentioned before, a new weapon, maybe even one imbued with a Devil Fruit ability. You see, this wouldn't be all that unlikely, given that he was the first to ever fight an object imbued with a Devil Fruit in the story, and the fact that he is heavily reliant on a weapon to fight. The next possible upgrade, and the one that is far more likely, is for him to finally advance his observation haki. For we already know that his dad has the strongest observation haki in the entire series, and can even use it to convey thoughts to others, as seen in film Red. Though that movie isn't considered 100% canon, so this is uncertain. But Usopp advancing his observation haki to a level that surpasses not only Luffy, but also his old man seems extremely likely, and honestly quite amazing. But now let's move on to the far more likely Straw Hats to eat a Devil Fruit in the very near future, and it's one that many seem to forget is actually a member of the Straw Hat crew. Vivi Nefertari. Yes, the Straw Hat member who is currently not with the Straw Hats is the one I consider very likely to receive the Devil Fruit in the very near future. And in fact, the fruit that many, not including myself, believe she will eat is the Nico Nico no Mi, which is currently in the paws of Kuma. Personally, it's strongly believed that Kuma's Devil Fruit will be given to a Straw Hat member in the future, given the widely known numbers theory that surrounds the Straw Hat's Devil Fruit names. The theory goes like this for anyone who's never heard it before. If you list all the names given to the Straw Hat's Devil Fruits using the Japanese Gorawase pattern, you will see that they begin to form the numbers 1 to 10. The Gorawase is a Japanese form of wordplay in which you use names and phrases to form the coded number or numbers. So when you use this on the Devil Fruit names, you begin to see a pattern form. First, you have Chopper, who has the Hito Hito, which is the 110 110. Then there's Brook, who has the Yomi Yomi, which is 4343. Then there's Robin, who has the Hana Hana, which is 8787. And Luffy, who used to have a fruit named the Gomo Gomo, which is 5656. So if you've been following along, you will realize we are missing the 2929. Now, after finding this out, many went to the office and started to discover which Devil Fruit actually is associated with the 29, which fans soon discovered it was the Nico Nico, which is also known as the Paw Paw Fruit, currently in Kuma's possession. This theory has been believed by many for years now, and is backed up by Oda himself when he was asked about it by a fan. You see, upon being asked, Oda became, and I quote, notably flustered and even went on to avoid answering the question, leaving many to believe there's definitely something interesting to be found in certain Devil Fruit names. So now that you've all been filled in on the theory in question, let's ask just 2 final questions. When and how might she obtain this fruit? Well, the when is where we are right now. Egghead, and the how is likely when Kuma dies to Saturn, and Luffy finishes him off. You see, it was revealed in chapter 1074 that she was with Big News Morgan, discussing the future of the world and more specifically Luffy's involvement on Egghead. Then again in chapter 1085 where we found out everything that happened in the reverie, with Emu saying that she wants Vivi's head or ass brought to them immediately, also implying that the government will attack Alabasta to not only remove the evidence of Emu, but to also find or kill Vivi who may be hiding there. This basically leaves Vivi with very few options other than to go to Egghead alongside Morgan's and meet up with her former crewmates. And honestly, at this precise moment in time, she's potentially in the most danger out of anyone in the world. So who other than the sun god himself could possibly protect her? Now many are quick to claim that it's impossible for her to become a pirate because she is a princess and heir to the Alabasta kingdom. To which I remind you that this sort of thing has happened many times before with other monarchs. So much so that it actually has a name. It's called to appoint a regent. A regent basically takes up the responsibilities of a kingdom until the rightful heir comes of age or returns from whatever they may be doing. And it's already clear from the Alabasta arc that Koza is essentially the future co-leader of the kingdom. Whether he marries Vivi or just works alongside her is yet to be seen, but that's besides the point. What I mean is he is the perfect fit for the position of the regent until Vivi can one day return. And another pattern I saw from a Threeville video, which I highly recommend and you can check out in the description, is that Nami at one point left the crew and eventually rejoined, and then Robin once left the crew and then eventually rejoined, and Vivi of course left the crew and will eventually rejoin. Now Threeville does go way more in depth on this pattern in his video, so if you're interested in that, check the description below. Now as for how she might gain this fruit, it's likely similar to Luffy offering Ace's fruit to Frankie, which is also why many think he'll be the one to get Kuma's fruit, because he was offered a fruit once before but turned it down. But realistically, with how much exterior work needs doing on that ship, it can't possibly lose the ability to swim anytime soon. This is likely where Bonnie begs Nami to take it, but as she's expressed before, she has no desire to gain any such power, which leaves us with only Usopp and Jinbei. Now Jinbei being a fishman will never take a devil fruit as it kinda goes against his very being, and Usopp, as we discussed earlier, isn't likely to gain any boost in power until Elbaf. So with no one left to take the fruit, the only other girl and a trusted friend of the Straw Hats who will be around is Vivi, who will likely force herself to just take the fruit as a way to be nice to the young girl. And there you have it, the next Straw Hat member who will eat a devil fruit is a member that isn't really even a member anymore, but kinda still is, Vivi. But what do you guys think? Is Vivi the next Straw Hat to eat a devil fruit? Tell me down below. But with that, that's gonna do it for me in this video. If you'd like to see a video where I rank the top 25 strongest living characters in this series right now, then click the first link in the description. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and peace.